Welcome to another lecture of Learning JS. Today we will be discussing another important concept in JavaScript. Those are closures. So what exactly is this closure? Let's discuss this with an example. So here we have an outer function and inside it we have this count variable, and later we are returning another function called inner and we are incrementing the count in it. Then later we are calling this outer function and we are calling this count twice. Now here's the interesting part. When we call the outer function, this outer function, it creates a variable called count, which is assigned as 0. Normally, once a function finishes executing, its variable should disappear. But when we call this counter function, it still remembers this count. And this particular counter returns 1 as the output and this gives us the 2 as the result. How? Let's discuss. Remember, it will be creating one global execution context. And inside this we will be having two phases, memory phase and the code phase. So inside this memory phase, what exactly happens here? Outer is stored as the function, and then we have counter variable and we are calling the counter. So once this counter is calling the outer function, so what happens is outer execution context is created and it has two phases, memory phase and the code phase. So inside this outer execution context, that means this particular function. Next, we will be having count. First it will be declared as undefined, and again we have an inner function. So count is assigned as 0. Count will be assigned as 0. And for this particular inner function, we will be having another execution context. And again, it will be having memory and the code phase. And inside this execution context, what happens? Count is incremented, count plus plus, and we are console logging that particular count. So this count plus plus means count is incremented to 1. This count value is stored in separate memory, which is called closure memory. Here what happens is, it will store count value as 1. Next, in the second iteration, inner function executes again and it accesses the count variable from the closure memory. Here count value is 1. So in the next iteration, it will increment the count value to 2. Now this closure memory stores count value to 2. So every call to this counter remembers the previous state of the count. So this particular way of remembering is called the closure.